These things cannot be stopped. Inherited will, the ebb and flow of the ages, the dreams of the people. As long as people seek the answer to freedom, these things will never cease to be. Pirate King Goldie Roger. Hello, humans of the world. I'm Dawn of the World. Welcome aboard. Some very interesting reveals this week from our resident man of science, Dr. Vegapunk. Also, I'm so glad and validated that Lucci didn't go down right away. In fact, he didn't go down at all. He is still standing and causing problems. Anyway, I've been homebound for the past few days, so I thought I'd have more time to work on this, but if you've had the spicy cough, you know. So it's Monday again, and I'm rushing through this as usual. Let's dive on in. And Luffy is once again being acknowledged as the emperor that he is, and this is by Kaku, who you might remember first encountered Luffy in a shipyard in Water 7 a long time ago. I bet you anything that at the time he didn't think, oh, this kid's gonna be a Yonko, but such is the beauty and bizarreness of life. The world is filled with all kinds of strange things after all. Worth noting is that the Marines are being informed of this skirmish. Obviously we have Kizaru, but then we also have this whole G14 Marine base as well that's located on a nearby island. We basically opened the arc with them. They were in, I think, the arc's opening chapter, which was about 10 chapters ago now, somewhere around there. So they have a role to play this arc, which may be seen through soon enough. And as a lot of us guessed based on how well we all know Luffy, he is suitably pissed at Lucci over Atlas being hurt, given that Atlas is the one who allowed Luffy and his friends to gorge themselves earlier. If you give Luffy food, you're set for life. And if anyone messes with you, Luffy becomes their problem. Anyway, when Chopper gives Atlas a quick once over here, he says something along the lines of her injuries being something more to Frankie's field than his own, confirming that Atlas's body is more artificial than organic. This also opens the potential for Frankie to be able to do something this arc when they get back to the lab. That being said, Vegapunk is in the lab as well. He's probably going to know what to do there, but there may be something there yet. I just really want Frankie to do something this arc, okay? If no other arc, he needs to do something in this arc. Getting into the actual fight, we have this interesting kind of dynamic going on because Kaku is clearly 90% of Lucci's impulse control, and he doesn't want to start fighting Luffy until they've been given explicit permission. He's just trying to do everything right by the book, but too bad for him. Lucci has been simmering in vendetta, aka an eternal matter, for the past 2 years and wants nothing more than to set things even after getting his ass beat back in Enna's lobby. And hey, why the heck not? After all, why shouldn't he? He's unlocked his awakened form. Show that shit off, man. Not everybody achieves that. Also, I noticed he's got the same kind of scarfy thing going on here that Luffy also has when he's in his awakened form. I guess it's kind of like a staple or a hallmark of an awakened zone, meaning that Chopper's form isn't a true awakening. He doesn't have a scarf thing. He doesn't have a floaty hair, though back in the day he did lose control, so there's that. I guess Monster Chopper is essentially the physical base of what would be an awakened form without having taken the proper steps or means to have gotten there. I also wonder if and what the link could potentially be between a Zoan user's awakened form and a mink person's Sulong form. Also, I appreciate that Kaku is still down there like, no, Lucci, we still don't have approval yet. As though Lucci's gonna be like, oh yeah, oh, sorry about that, oh, my bad, I'll just slip back into my normal form and we'll wait for the go-ahead. Like, as though he's gonna do that, revert to his human form, sit and awkwardly wait for Daddy World Government to give him approval to brawl. That being said, there's probably going to be some repercussions for this. Oda has gone out of his way to have Kaku nagging multiple times from the sidelines, and then on the other side we also have Jinbei basically telling Luffy to be careful about whatever he does, with the implication that there's now going to be greater consequences because of the title that Luffy holds. He's a Yonko now, after all. His actions have an array of consequences. Jumping into the lab, the Vegapunk squad are just the biggest Zoan and Devil Fruit fans, it seems. And honestly, I'd neither want nor expect anything else because we've been waiting for Vegapunk for like over 15 years at this point, with the knowledge that he's going to give us information about the Devil Fruits, and that's happening now. Now, according to Vegapunk's theory, the Devil Fruits are born from the desires, the hopes, the dreams of the people. There's going to be more to it than that, but so far that is such a One Piece way for them to have come into existence. Since the importance of dreams in One Piece That can't be understated or overstated. I always get confused as to which one I should say there. Vegapunk notes that Sun God Nika, who Luffy now emanates, appears in the oldest texts, and that despite all efforts to remove any record of him, as long as people wish for him being, I guess, the very concept of freedom, he'll never truly disappear. Again, nothing is more powerful in One Piece than people's dreams, than inherited will through the ages. And this is something Roger himself was very well aware of, hence the choice of quote at the start of this video. People's dreams are limitless. The past and the present are connected through inherited will, which is also limitless, and from what I can understand so far, the devil fruits have, through some means, inherited the wills of humankind. Someone wished they could divide their body up into pieces. The Barabara no Mi was born. Someone wished they could be a giraffe. The Ushi Ushi no Mi model giraffe was born. Someone wished they could become fire. The Mera Mera no Mi was born. Except for apparently the actual Gomu Gomu fruit, which seemingly doesn't exist. Apparently no one, or at least not enough people, have wished for Gomu Gomu no Mi abilities. Or maybe they did and nature was like, Mochi! What you're after is mochi, my friend! And thus Karakuri's fruit was born. But the word that Vegapunk used in one of the panels, which I found really interesting, was the word desire. And this is because satellite number 6 of snack dump and napping fame has the name Desire. Will she ever have a role to play beyond her responsibilities for bodily functions? At this point, yeah, probably. There are definitely things that we don't know yet. I also like how Vegapunk refers to the sea as the mother of nature, which makes a lot of sense since all life can be traced back to the primordial soup. Moving on, I love the detail that it's Sentomaru's day off, because we didn't need that detail at all, but it adds so much character because we get him here and he's extra dejected because Vegapunk has interrupted his binge watch of Real Housewives of Dressrosa. He's up to season 2, guys, no spoilers. What do you guys reckon Sentomaru does on his day off? Please leave in the comments below. I actually really enjoy Sentomaru's character. I just often forget that I do because we never see him. We've already known for a while that Sentomaru is Vegapunk's bodyguard of sorts, but now we see that there seems to be a personal history in there as well. Vegapunk apparently took in Sentomaru and saved his life. Sentomaru is 34, so around the time of the flashback that we saw a few weeks ago, he would have been 12 years old, so possibly it happened around then. Regardless, I think it's pretty possible that when we get more Vegapunk flashbacks in the future, we will get some younger Sentomaru in there as well, and we'll probably find out what exactly happened here. We also had a quick panel of Jinbei glimpsing his Seraphim. I actually touch on this a little bit in my next video, which was meant to be out by now. It's going to be slightly out of date, but it'll still be good enough to check out, I think. I really liked Luffy and Sentomaru's interaction, brief as it was. No thanks to Lucci butting in here and thus overriding Sentomaru's authority over the Seraphims. Speaking of, I think that Luffy probably winded Lucci back there with his dynamic new awaken enabled mole ability. I think he winded him and then ran off to say hi to Sentomaru, but it wasn't a defeat and I'm really glad about that. Not just because I'd be eating my words from the last chapter, but also because if Luffy were to just low diff everyone from now on right away, it would be boring. There's a certain group of people in the fandom right now who are just expecting Luffy to steamroll every single opponent from here on out because he's a Yonko. And while yes, there are plenty of people that he would be able to steamroll now, it's not going to exactly work like that. Like, he's not the only person who's grown stronger throughout the series. Like, take even Crocodile. If Luffy were to fight Crocodile now, it would quite potentially still be a difficult battle. I mean, Luffy is still stronger than Lucci for sure, and we can see that in the carefree Sun God Nika disposition that he's had throughout the battle this chapter, while Lucci seems to be struggling a bit more to catch up. Not to mention Lucci eliminating Sentomaru here could be in part because he knows he's losing against Luffy and he doesn't want to lose, so he's trying to gain control of the Seraphim to swing things in his favor, even out the playing field a bit. I mean, this is an internal matter. He didn't train for 2 years just to lose like this again. So yeah, Luffy is not going to spend the rest of the story on some low diff power fantasy. In Luffy's own words, I don't want a boring story like that. The truth is that in a lot of ways, Luffy's opponents are going to be the same as they've always been. They're going to be exactly as strong as they need to be in order for Oda to tell us the story of this amazing adventure in its final acts and have his protagonist both struggle and overcome whenever which is needed. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Also, for the video later this week, you know dawn, you know dusk, get ready for somebody else. Not gonna lie, while editing that particular video, I realized that I really don't like the way that that particular wig looks. I don't think it flatters me at all. So we will be doing something about that. Please have an open mind. Anyway, thanks guys. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on alerts. I'm Dawn of the World, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.